Hey guys, Mark the Colour Kiwi here. Today I finally got my Victrix delivery after nearly a month of waiting. I'm really excited because I've been looking forward to trying out some Numidian Cav for a very long time. I do apologise for my voice. I've got a bit of a head cold at the moment, and my voice has been getting worse and worse as the day's been going on. So it's not fantastic. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a review of the set, and I'm going to just build up some models and show you what they look like and give you my final thoughts on what I think of them as an overall set from Victrix, so you can have a bit more of an idea of whether you think they'd be good in your force or not. So here we go. If you have any questions at the end, obviously just leave me a message. I love to hear from you guys, and I'm always happy to answer any questions you have. Alright guys, so here they are, the Numidian Cav from Victrix. There's 12 models in here. Now they are very cool looking just through the plastic. I was quite surprised that instead of coming in a box, they do just come in a plastic bag with a couple of staples through the top. Flimsy piece of cardboard. If you're buying it in a store, it might not be so bad, but when you're getting them shipped from overseas, you know, they're quite small and fragile, so I was quite lucky that nothing came broken. They were reasonably well packed with lots of foam and that around them, so I guess there wasn't too much chance that they'd get broken, but nonetheless I was surprised that they didn't have a box. Very similar in fact to the way that the Greek Heavy Cav have come as well, which I'll do a review of later on. But yeah, so this is basically how they come. Plastic bag, 4 sprues. They look like they're all exactly the same. All very straightforward. It's got a little bit of stuff on the back here just about what codes are on the sprues themselves and what the bits are for. So what I'll do is I'll stop this for a second, pull one of them out, just have a quick look, and we'll see what it looks like on the actual sprue. Alright guys, so here's the sprue. Now all 4 sprues that you get in the pack are exactly the same. So there's 3 horses. You've got one that's galloping, one that's sort of in a trot, and one that's in a bit of a canter, and you've got 3 figures to ride them. Now they do look basically the same, slight difference but not a lot, but I imagine it doesn't take a lot just to give them a little bit of bending in there if you do want something a little different. Now you've got a sword arm down there, you've got a musician's arm, standard bearer's arm, and then you've got a selection of javelins and short throwing spears. Now interestingly, it looks like a couple of these hands here are actually to go on these hands here, so I guess you chop them off and replace them, giving you a bit more ability to make each figure a little bit different, which I think is quite cool. Very, very basic, like flat shields, nothing too special there, but I mean they are Numidians, they just basically had hide covered wooden frames, so nice and straightforward. Now with the heads, if I can get in close and have a decent look at them here, I'll try and turn them around the right way. There's one head there that has a helmet on it, and then the rest of them are all just bare heads, just with the ringlet hairstyle that the Libyans and Numidians seem to have, which is pretty cool. Now the actual detail on the figures, and especially the horses, I'm really impressed. The muscular nature of them is really good. They look quite thin. The other thing which is quite interesting, and I'm really quite glad of, is that they are quite small. If you compare them to the Macedonian Heavy Cav, for example, they are quite a bit smaller than the other ones, which is good because the Numidians historically had more like little fast ponies, sturdy little fast ponies that could just run and run and run, as opposed to the larger sort of like Macedonian and Greek war horses. So that's quite cool. I wasn't actually sure that was going to be the case. I thought they might just be the same horses but without as much stuff on them. You can see here that in the true nature of Numidians they have just a little piece of rope around, and the actual figures themselves are holding on, steering the animal by the knees into the side, which is exactly what they did. No reins or anything. It's well before that time. Definitely no saddles in that. And overall, I think that's actually really cool. So what I'll do now is I'll build up a unit. unit, and then I'll put them in front of you as I'm going to have them on the table, just so you can see what they look like with a few different options put together and put into an actual unit. Alright? Alright guys, and here's a small unit of them under the Hail Caesar rules. Very, very easy to put together, nice models to put together. My only complaint, if anything, although these are hard plastic, I noticed that unlike all the other models I've had from Victrix, the plastic itself seems just a little bit softer. Hopefully with some paint on it that'll not be an issue, but I did notice you've got to be very careful when you're putting the arms on, especially with these tiny little javelins here and light spears, because they are very, very soft, and there's a good chance that you are going to break them off if you're not careful, so you have to be really gentle with them. Now I'll try and bring one up a lot closer here so you can have a bit of a look at some of the detail. Excuse all the paint on my fingers. Alright, so obviously a little bit of filling and maybe a little bit of liquid green stuff in there just to fit a few tiny little bits, maybe clean up the leg just a little bit more, but very, very nice detail on the models. They should paint up really, really well. I'm really impressed with them. Overall, as a set, I have to say that these are probably some of the nicer cavalry figures that I've come across. The fact that they've got the really small ponies as opposed to great big war horses like some other ones I've seen makes them more historically accurate. And the overall looks, the differences between the faces and just the poses of the horses and that makes them overall a really nice looking unit. Overall out of 10, I think I'd have to say I'd give this set probably a 7 or 8. I don't really think there's too much more you could actually do to it. I suppose a couple of extra poses of horses just so they look even more different than they do, but again, you could easily do that just by mixing some of the left and right sides of the horses. So overall, I think that's a really good set. Really interested to know what you guys think of these models, and I'll definitely have some pictures of them painted in the upcoming future. If you've got any questions about the box set or anything that's actually in there, feel free to send me a message and I'll be quite happy to answer. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a good time, and hopefully your dice are always rolling 6s.